thankful to be able to get the win, obviously. Some really good stuff I thought out there tonight. Kind of relaxed a little bit in the maybe middle of the second half, or start the second half, and gave them some opportunities to kind of work their way back in the game. And that's the lesson that I think we need to learn about how urgent you need to be for all 40 minutes, not just for 32 or 28 or whatever it would be. And but again, happy to get the win, and a lot of things we can learn from it as we move forward.
I thought in the first half, especially after you challenged your kids after the last game, played really inspired defense. About 7 minutes with no field goals for them. What were your kids doing well for that stretch, and how do you think they responded to
they were following our formula, and that's what we talk about it all the time. And to their credit, they were playing with really good urgency. They were extremely detailed. They were playing with the right amount of energy, and that stuff has to be non-negotiable. And that's unfortunately what we didn't have on Thursday. But I was happy with the way that they were able to contest shots. We were able to rotate properly. We scrambled a number of times. We came up with some loose balls, and it was all effort by them. And again, it's a shame sometimes that in order to get some of your best effort, sometimes you have to have some of your poorest. And we need more guys that are doing that on a consistent basis, and that are locked in on a consistent basis. Because they make a choice. You make a choice about what you want to do, and they made great choices today, and they played with great effort, and I was proud of them for that.
There was one instance where you brought 5 guys out, but another 5 guys in. Was that a result of just the guys being tired, like you said last game, having to come out because they were working so hard? Or?
Did you see that stretch? There was like 19 missed layups by both teams. People were dragging. Yeah, we just needed bodies. We just needed to get some fresh bodies in there to finish the half. And again, it's easier to sub when guys are playing with purpose and guys are playing with that urgency and that energy, right? Because you can put different guys out on the floor, and they're going to give the right effort. That's how the best teams we've had here have been. That's how most of the best teams are, right? When you go to your bench, you don't fall apart. And actually, in the second half, I thought that's where we relaxed a little bit. We went to the bench some, and some of those guys gave up and had some breakdowns. And that's stuff that we need to talk to them about, continuing to get stronger within our formula and continuing to play as hard as they can for as long as they can.
How much did having Stewart back in the lineup to give you guys some continuity at that point?
Yeah, it definitely helps a ton. I mean, you don't have a senior point guard who's played as many minutes as he has in your lineup. It's certainly going to shake some stuff up. Not to mention his on-court performance, but he's obviously a lot of our personality, right? I mean, you see out there, he's talking to guys, he's rallying guys, he's calming guys down, he's doing all that stuff. And so when you don't have that, it makes it even that much more complicated, right? So it was great to have him back tonight. I thought he was good. I don't think he was great. I think there were some decisions he could have made that were that I thought could have been a little bit better. But to have him out there and have him be able to make a big layup late and help us stay organized down the stretch when we had some funky lineups out there because of them basically playing 4 guards. We had to kind of match that, and so we were able to kind of stay organized and communicate things to guys well, so we could figure out a way to win.
When you play all 3 of the freshmen at the same time, what does that change about your lineup besides maturity, obviously?
Certainly affects my well-being and my anxiety levels, that's for sure. But I think all 3 of those guys have a chance to be really, really good players at Robert Morris. It's just a matter of can they remain consistent, right? And as we watch film with them or as we discuss different situations with them, the common theme, and it's not just for them, it's every freshman across the country, is you relaxed there for a second. You took a break there for a second. You exhaled for a second, instead of having that heightened urgency level where you're constantly engaged mentally as well as physically, right? At the high school level, a lot of them could dominate physically. Well, now your physical gifts are equal to your opponents, and if you're not thinking first, reacting first, if you're not positioned correctly, bad things can happen, even if you give your best effort. And so it's constantly a battle of trying to remind them those things, and then trying to, teach them, like, Deshaun gets in the game and he gets a breakaway layup, but he kind of handles the ball sloppily as he goes down the floor. Then the next time they throw it to him, it kind of bobbles off his hands. They don't think those things are important, but they're sometimes indicators of you maybe not being as engaged as you need to be. And so when we talked to him about those, sometimes at first he kind of was like, well, I'm good. All right, well then just catch the ball clean, right? Handle the ball down the court, make a good decision, be in the right spot. And that's how you prove that you're engaged as much as you need to be. But like I said, we have trust in those guys. Obviously, Clyde was in their late game. Deshaun was in their late game. We've had other big wins this year where those guys have been big parts of it down the stretch, and it's nice to see them grow and mature.
Braden, especially offensively, the last few games, has kind of seemed a lot more comfortable than he was.
Yeah, we'd like to get him the ball more, and we want him to shoot it more. It's just a matter of making sure he doesn't get in some of that foul trouble. Right, his teammates trust him. Obviously, he shoots a high percentage. When he's engaged, he's really talented in and around the basket, and he's a really good passer. I mean, you saw the pass he made to Maddie for the three in the corner, and those are all characteristics that you want to see out of front court guys, regardless of class. It's just a matter of making sure that he's defending the way he needs to, so he can stay on the floor, because we'd like him to be on the floor even more than he is.
When your players talk about, developing a killer instinct, being able to finish off teams when they're up, is that something that you're not just going to wake up tomorrow and have it? What do you think you guys can do to keep that sense of urgency?
I think it's something that comes from within those guys, and it's something that you got to continually address and you got to continually promote. Situations during the course of the game where maybe your energy level needs to continue to maintain or rise up. We talked about it a little bit. I don't know what media it was, because they kind of got jumbled there at the end, but we talked about trying to get back to some of the details that we needed and some of the closeouts, and some of the guys were talking about that on the bench and in the timeout, and then we came up with some stops late in the game, and we're other than fouling Sanabria, which I didn't see the contact, we came up with some big plays and some big rebounds, and those are the things that we've just got to build and build and build so that we can do them for longer stretches.
So you guys getting 14 offensive boards tonight as opposed to 3 a couple of days ago. How important was that for you guys to get those second chances?
It's amazing what can happen when you try, right?